Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Boom Al Gato, the cat that hands your hype job back. And to my right over here is the man, assistant arrow, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Down your ideas, runs, plus your content, your girls only fans.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit like you always do. And with that, let's get right into it. So, this past weekend, UFC fights that me and my man both here, we both predicted two different individuals being the ones that we thought were going to win. But the Suga Show is here. Listen, we have not been too kind to the Suga Show, Suga Sean, on here, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not my favorite character, not my favorite UFC fighter, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but let me explain why. Anyone who is Dana's boy, generally not a fan of. There's some, there's a couple, don't get me wrong, that are a little bit out there that I do respect, but for the most part, if they are Dana White's boy, generally I am not a fan. With that being said, let's not pretend that Dana doesn't look at Suga Sean like the second coming of Conor McGregor. But let's not pretend here. I don't think a lot of the hype is there, at least on my end. I know a lot of people are, behind the Suga Show. I know a lot of people love the Suga Show, and not a lot of people are behind the man. But I think his road and his ascension to now being champion, it's not necessarily how I would have liked him to get there. But regardless, let's get into what happened. So, my man, before the fight, before it actually went down on Saturday, he asked me, just in general conversation, who do you think is going to win? And I said, I quote, I'm not going to lie to you, my man. I am not the biggest fan of Aljo, but over his last three fights, even though I think Peter Yan beat him, he has grown on me. I do think Aljo has the tools to beat him. Now, what happened, in my opinion, is during that fight, Aljo went in. He had a little bit of success. I believe Aljo thinks he caught Suga with a good shot, and he rushed to get in there, and as he often does, Suga landed a good right hook. Now, do I think it was stopped a little early? I do. Just a little bit early, just a little bit. If he would have taken maybe another second worth of damage, I could have seen it. Go for it. Call it, ref. Call it. But I think it will stop just a little early. Now, with that being said, my problem with the whole scenario is again, I do feel like they're pushing, and let's be honest, we all know who Dana White pushes for. He does it for a reason. He wants these individuals to win because he's got an agenda. It's really WWE, but a little bit more real. A good amount more real because they're actually hitting each other. But regardless of the scenario, Suga Sean beat Aljamain Sterling. I thought Aljo was going to win. I thought he had just a little bit more tools. If I'm being honest, I would have liked to see Aljo wrestle more than he did. But here we are. With that being said, there's a number of individuals that are either going to be stepping up or have already staked the claim to fighting him next. Of course, we have Aljo, who at the beginning was saying, hey, I might go up in weight. Whether I win or lose, now he's basically saying, let's run it back in 2024. We have Marav Davishvili, who is Aljo's basically like best friend. He's his boy, and he's sitting at number 2. We have Henry Cejudo, who's stepped back into the fold, saying, "Come get you some." And then long rival of Suga Sean, Chito Vera. Now, before we get into who we believe he should fight next, just so you know, me and I have not discussed it in any way, shape, or form. I wanted him to have his own fresh opinion. I have my own fresh opinion about this, but let's go down the line one-on-one. Who do you believe, your personal opinion on who you believe should be the next one to fight Suga Sean for the title?
Listen, man, right off the bat, as much as I wanted him to win the first fight against Aljamain Sterling, the fact that Henry Cejudo dropped the ball was like, yo, my man, you have diminished your value in my eyes. He was an absolute hero to me, especially in the men's bantamweight division. And for him to drop that low, especially against Aljamain Sterling, a young buck, especially fighting against somebody with his own fight style, Olympic wrestling, and the fact that he dropped the ball, especially after talking that much smack, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little heartbroken, especially seeing the one AZ native that we had that could potentially become the champion, and it was Suga Sean of all people. Suga Sean, and again, I don't like Sugar Sean on a number of things, and mostly on a principle reason, because men's bantamweight hasn't really been promoted historically a whole lot in the UFC. Really, anything below men's bantamweight, men's flyweight hasn't been promoted very well, especially with Dana White in the UFC, because by Dana's own words, even with a historic run as Mighty Mouse has had, a 12 run title defense, Dana White's like, nah, it's not exciting. Bullshit. It can be exciting. And the fact that he's now promoting Sugar Sean now all of a sudden proves that, yes, it can be exciting if you invest and promote money into it. That's besides the point. Anyways, out of all the people that I think should get a shot, first of all, Peter Yan does need that run back, especially after, let's be honest, it was a fluke of a DQ. Nobody saw that coming, and even though Aljamain did get the advantage at that point, in that round, it was all Piotr. It was only when they got that run back and got that DQ, now all of a sudden, Aljamain Sterling got that advantage in the final round. At that moment, if they hadn't stopped the fight beforehand, they would have given it to Peter Yan, especially in that round when he gave that knee to the face. I think first in line, Peter Yan does need that run back. If they're not going to give it to Peter Yan just because it's a new champion, at the very least, Chito Vera should be next in line for that, in my personal opinion. Chito Vera absolutely, you can't tell me he's not hungry for it. He absolutely deserves it. But that's on me. If there was anybody else, but even though they're probably not the closest in line for title contention, the person I'd want to see, honestly, Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz, at least career-wise, it's needing a bit of a wake up call. I think he needs a shot, a fucking wild, out of left field shot. But if there is anybody else, if you're not gonna give me Peter Yan, if you're not gonna give me Chito Vera, at the very least, give me a fucking out of left field fucking call. Give me Dominic Cruz. That's my personal take on that.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bit of a different take than you do. The first one that I believe should get a shot is absolutely Aljo. He gave Sugar Sean a shot. He could have bitched, he could have moaned like some other UFC champions have done, and not giving him a shot, but he did. So I think that run back is absolutely necessary. Who do I think is more deserving? Merab, he's earned it. The only reason he hasn't already challenged for the title is because Aljo is his boy, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to fight my boy. Again, Aljo was already saying, hey, if I win or lose, I'm going to move up. Only reason he didn't is because, let's be honest, Aljo thought he was going to win, and he thought he was going to be able to move up. And then allow his boy to come in. So Aljo, Merab, and then Chito, and then I guess, Henry. I'm not too interested in Henry Cejudo fighting him. Look, I know this is probably going to hurt me one day because I actually met Henry Cejudo. He's here in Arizona. He's one of the boys here. I respect him. The only reason I'm putting him dead last because I don't feel like he has so much claim to being able to get the title. Again, Aljo just lost, which Aljo, I personally feel like he lost because of his own fuck up. He rushed in there a little bit too aggressively, and he got caught. Happens to all of them. Happens to the best of them. Could happen any day of the week to anybody. Merab, again, he deserves it the most right after Aljo, only because, again, Merab's basically just been waiting because of his boy. I put Chito third because Chito has a history with him. Chito's the only one that has a dub over Sugar Sean, even though Sugar Sean claims he's undefeated, which you're not. Let it go. You're not fucking undefeated. You're lost. Anyways, and then after that, Henry Cejudo. Look, listen, my man. I don't want to sound too biased when I say this, but the only reason that I'm not a fan of Sugar Sean is just because, again, he's the one of Dana White's boys. Listen, a lot of the stuff that Sugar Sean says behind the scenes, it's not that off, it's not that off the rocker. It's stuff that makes sense. It's stuff that, okay, I can see where the man's coming from. I may not necessarily agree with them, but I can see, where he's coming from. So I don't hate the boy personally. I just don't like that he's one of Dana White's boys. And I'll be honest with you, he kisses a little bit too much ass of Dana White. And I get it, he's your boss. But technically, if you want to believe the UFC, if you want to believe Dana White, he's not your boss. You're you're a contractor. You're not really part of the UFC family. You fight for him, but you're an independent contractor. So no, you shouldn't be kissing his ass. He's not your boss, so stop fucking doing it. Now, with that being said, again, my personal pick is Aljo running it back. Right after that, if doesn't matter who wins, whether it's Aljo or Sugar. After that is Merab, and after Merab, I do believe Chito gets a chance. The only reason I put Chito, at number 3 is, again, he just got manhandled by Sandhagen. I think he needs to, do a little bit more to get back up to where he should, where he's deserving of a title shot. Again, there's a storyline there. They have a rivalry that's gone back a little bit now. I get it. I understand. But I don't know. I don't think that that would be too interesting to me personally. And then way back in the back, one of Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousins, I believe. Don't quote me on that, and I apologize because I don't remember the man's name. Completely on me. I actually looked up the article earlier, but I forgot the name right now. He's saying, "Hey, look, this is history repeating itself. An Irish superstar, a Nurmagomedov, both being built up. Let's repeat history here. Let me whoop that ass." It's another potential, but I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit further in the future. I don't even really think that Sugar Sean is really gonna be able to retain the title for too long, if I'm being honest. I believe it was Corey Sandhagen that came out and said, "Look, man, now that he's champ, he's gonna get exposed. Everybody's gonna be coming after him. I don't believe he's gonna hold on to the title." And I agree with that. Look, listen, Sugar Sean's got a hell of a right hook. No arguments there. He's got a lot of power behind it, apparently. But I don't think he's too much of a wrestler. At the times that I've seen him wrestle, he hasn't done good. There's a lot of deep wrestlers in there, especially if that Nurmagomedov does get on up there. So, I think I agree with Corey Sandhagen, if it is him that said it, that I believe he is going to get exposed. Now, that's just my opinion. That's just my boy's opinion. Please tell us what you think about that in the comments. Anything else that you got to say to that, my man?
Yeah, I think that one guy just pretty much just killed his entire thing with commenting at, it's history repeating himself. And I just picture Dana White just having flashbacks of a dolly being thrown at a bus and causing many injuries. But that's besides the point. But yes, personally for me, I think there was something that you said over there that was like, and we have nothing against Sugar Sean. It was like, look, if he won it legitimately, cool. We personally just have an issue with what Sugar Sean represents. And let's be honest, Sugar Sean, or at least the Sugar Show, it's a show that it's either on TikTok or he has it on YouTube. Again, Sugar Sean is very social media heavy. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. We have a social media. We're going to promote our own thing. However, the thing that I feel negatively represents that is, I think with that social media presence, it seems like Dana White is only willing to invest in fighters that they feel will only bring in more UFC audiences. Only in the sense that, okay, if it brings in more audience for me, if they can do the promoting for me, then I'm definitely gonna promote that. They're doing my job for me, which that's basically free labor at that point. And I had this on my rant video. The fact that he was willing to give the Nelk Boys $250,000. Nelk Boys being a bunch of pranksters, by the way. And yet a fight bonus is $50K. All that free labor, all that free money is basically like you're handing Dana money at that point. You're working for him for free, even though you're already his employee. You're already working for him. Why are you working off the clock at that point? You're representing with basically a bad idea from an ethics standpoint. That's beside the point. I don't like the guy personally on principle. I don't think he's a bad guy, but personally, I would like to see somebody better in title contention, not just from a promotional standpoint. But anyways, that's me. That was my final thoughts on that.
With that, like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.